Sanjay Gupta went on to a Joe Rogan show, and Joe Rogan kind of let him have it for the whole ivermectin thing because he got it and he took ivermectin.
He took everything.
He took everything.
He said, I threw the kitchen sink at this thing.
Right. And then they went on and said Joe Rogan's eating horse paste.
Right.
And it's a couple of things. Drew always goes nuts because he's prescribed ivermectin to millions of people, or at least thousands of people.
What's it ostensibly for?
It's ostensibly
before COVID.
We can, well, Chris, who just stepped out, maybe Dawson, you can check the wiki page on ivermectin.
According to Twitter, it's a horse dewormer.
It was invented maybe 20-something, 30-something years ago as basically a dewormer for humans because a lot of refugees who came here.
If you have like a
would get it.
Or something.
Well, look, if you came from some village in Nicaragua and you came to the United States, you just got it.
Right.
Because maybe you had it, maybe you didn't have it, but it's safe, so you get it.
Well, yeah. But
everyone coming here across the border from Haiti should be getting it.
Right.
Maybe they are. Like, the point is if you came here with rivers that had these parasites in it, would also use it for head lice and scabies and river blindness, but it was mainly for parasites.
Right.
And if you came from a place that had parasites, then you got it prophylactically, or not even prophylactically. You just got it when you came here because you could have parasites.
And I love that all of a sudden, when you're on Twitter, everybody's an expert. Everybody knows everything about ivermectin. Ketamine was a horse tranquilizer, and that is used broadly and widely for humans.
And as I said to Drew, well, what percentage of stuff makes its way to the veterinarian sector after we use it on us? And he said, I don't know, 80%?
Sure.
We'll get down to your family dog. Right. If it works on human beings long enough, where we usually put the humans before the bovine. But once it works on us, then we figure out a dose and we give it to the animal community. And, God, I think I was thinking about what is the most prescribed antiviral sort of
amoxicillin or
well, yeah, I'm sure it's something for all of it. No, I was thinking I'm going way back to penicillin. Yeah, like they made penicillin for people, but they'll give it to the pet. They'll give it to the horse.
Out of mold, by the way.
Out of mold. So it's horse mold.
Right.
It's penicillin. So I don't think Joe, I think he took umbrage to them saying he was taking horse paste.
Right.
Journalistically, it's sort of insane, which is, yes, it is for horses, but it's first for humans. And obviously, Joe would consult with his doctor and get the human version of it in the dose that his doctor thinks is effective. And then there's another argument, which is it effective? And that answer is, for me, it's a little less of, is it effective? Because we may not know. But that's between you and your doctor. And then the real question is it dangerous? So if, Brian, you have a condition, if your doctor said, I don't know, try Robitussin, see if you can get a hit off Mike's bountiful that he travels with, or take children's aspirin or something. You'd go, well, does it help? And they'd go, I don't know, it may help. And then your next question is it dangerous? And if the answer is, well, it's not dangerous, then you'd go, well, fuck it, I'll give it a try.
That's funny about that example, as I take children's aspirin every day on my doctor's recommendation.
Right. May help, may not, but not dangerous. So Sanjay took a trip over to Rogan's experience, and we'll play you this 2-minute exchange because Rogan wasn't having anything, wasn't having it. And we'll get our sound worked out.
Horse dewormer's not a flattering thing. I get that. It's a lie. It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a willing. That's a lie that they're conscious of. This is not a mistake.
Yeah,
they're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine.
Well, the FDA put this thing out. You saw that. Did you see that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky. I admit it. They said, "You are not a horse. You are not a cow. Stop taking this stuff," or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people, a drug that was responsible for one of the inventors of it winning the Nobel Prize in 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, a drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is ridiculous. It's just a lie.
I don't think anyone is.
But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine. Like, here it is. This is ivermectin.
You got
this
it with
right
you.
Here. Somebody gave it to me.
All right, hang on. The thing is, we're like going so fast. Like I feel like I'm missing.
Do you think that's a problem that your news network lies?
Well, I don't.
Dude,
I mean, what did they say?
They lied and said I was taking horse dewormer. First of all, it was prescribed to me by a doctor.
Yeah.
Along
they
with
shouldn't have said it was
a bunch of other medications.
If you got a human pill, because there were people that were taking the veterinary medication, and you're not, obviously. You got it from a doctor, so that it shouldn't be called that. Ivermectin can be a very effective medication for parasitic disease, and as you say, it's probably, I think a 250 million people have taken it around the world.
More,
I get that.
Way more.
So
way more. Billions of people have taken it.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two things on the ledger.
You have, before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied, just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer?
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You didn't ask? You didn't think that was you're the medical guy over there.
I didn't ask. I should have asked before coming on your podcast.
But they did it with such glee.
No,
yes,
Joe.
They did. I watched.
All right. So now that's why these people can't go on other shows.
Right.
Because that's unfortunately what happens to
them.
But
you know what the problem with that is? This is like a correction in a newspaper. Nobody knows about it. Like, that's why I'm glad we're highlighting it.
It's more, and it's got a little worse in the sense that later on, and I think we have a clip of Bill Maher's onto this thing too. He did a whole ivermectin thing. It's not about ivermectin, and it's not about ivermectin being effective. It's about how you portray it. Right. It's that you should be agnostic, which is, first off, I don't even know why you would bring it up. Like, his doctor said, take this stuff. Right. So he followed his physician's advice and he took this stuff. Why the drilling down? Why there's therapeutics, there's potential therapeutics out there. Why the ad hominem attack on every therapeutic? Why is it just no good? Why is it just for horses? Why is it just dangerous? You should be agnostic. You should just be like, well, I don't know. Well, let's do a study. Let's figure it out.
There was reporting, and I don't know if it's factual or not. At this point, I have no idea. But there was reporting that people were going to pet stores and buying this shit out.
Yeah, right.
So, but again, I don't know. Did that happen?
There was a report that, what was that report? There was that Rolling Stones report that a whole bunch of people showed up at a emergency room. Remember, this thing was going on, and it was an interesting report because it was a totally bogus story that a bunch of people were ODing on it and showing up at an emergency room and pushing out gunshot victims. Like, they couldn't get to the gunshot victims because people were ODing on the horse version of ivermectin. So said Rolling Stone about 3 weeks ago. It was a big thing. If you look at the picture that Rolling Stone used for this story that this doctor reported on, who didn't even work at the hospital anymore or hadn't been working at the hospital, was totally bogus. Everyone just ran with it. And the picture they showed, and this was in July or August, was a bunch of people lined up in front of a hospital. Every one of them was wearing a hoodie and a skull cap and a parka. So you had to just know from the picture that was an old, cold picture. Where was that, Max Zapata?
Yeah, they tweet. Well, here, we'll put up the
Oklahoma in August
Oklahoma,
or September, whenever it was. If you look at the picture, every human being in supposedly Oklahoma.
Those are supposedly gunshot victims?
No, gunshot victims are left waiting as horse dewormer overdoses overwhelm the Oklahoma hospital. No such thing happened.
This seems more like COVID testing for last Thanksgiving.
Yes, and it's a bunch of pictures. Everyone is wearing either a hood or a beanie or a cap and has their jacket, has their winter wear on. So just from the picture alone,
This
Rolling
report,
Stone.
On Rolling Stone is dated beginning of September 5th.
That
Right.
would be hard to believe.
In Oklahoma, so it's probably 104 degrees that day. So then Sanjay, I think, went back on to Don Lemon's show after Rogan, and then Don Lemon just kept it going. Like he did not take a step back. And Sanjay, once he got into the friendly confines of CNN, didn't stop him either, which is like, all right, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, like, why are we believing you now? You're the doctor. You work for CNN. Some of this stuff may have been said around you.
I was about to say, did he say this stuff?
No, but
it'd be like Rogan's making the accusation.
Couple things. He either said it or sat there silently while somebody else said it, which is, you can't do that with Drew. You can't go, let me tell you about medicine. He'll chime in immediately. If I was sitting around and Gina was saying, I much prefer hollow core doors to solid core doors, I'd go, sweetie, you got to way off.
You're out of your depth.
You're way wrong about it. I'm an expert in this. He did not do it, but he let Don Lemon do it as soon as he got back to CNN.
Well, and what he said to Joe Rogan is they shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, because he had nothing else to say at that point. He was cornered.
I know it's in large part a tongue-in-cheek interview, because it's Joe Rogan and there's you're jockeying back and forth. But he did say something about ivermectin that I think wasn't actually correct about CNN and lying, okay? Ivermectin is a drug that is commonly used as a horse dewormer. So it is not a lie to say that the drug is used as a horse dewormer. I think that's important, and it is not approved for COVID, correct?
That's right. That's correct. It is not approved for COVID, and you're right. I mean, the FDA even put out a statement saying, basically reminding people, it was a strange sort of message from the FDA, but that said, you're not a horse, you're not a cow, stop taking this stuff, is essentially what they said, referring to ivermectin. Now, I think what Joe's point...
The point is just going right back to it. There's a way you can kind of correct this. It's for horses and humans, like 80,000 other drugs. We're prescribing it to humans.
And it's used off-label, like 80,000 other drugs.
Right.
Plenty of people use, this meant for this, but it works for that.
Brian
or they have
is
some benefit.
here today because of that.
True.
Right. Aren't you so sick of an illness being politicized? I mean,
my God.
there's a conservative way to cure COVID and there's a liberal way to cure COVID. Like, what's wrong with people?
I don't know, but CNN, you're going to lose credibility. Just fucking. Yeah, by the way, this is a non-story because he just used 6 other things and hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. So just keep walking. It's not a hill to die on. But I was yelling about this to Dr. Drew, and it's basically CNN's take is it's for horses, which, first off, they're lying. They're just lying at this point. Obviously, they know you have a phone. You can go look it up. It takes 10 seconds, but it's essentially like saying, you can use a brush on a horse, and my daughter can use a brush on her hair, you fucking
Why?
retard.
Is she a horse?
I don't walk in and wrestle away the horse brush. It's her brush she may use, and then there's another brush which has an application for fucking horses, Don Lemon, you fucking idiot liar. And it's Sanjay Gupta, come on, you're a fucking physician. Step up a little bit. I know you don't want to be fucking have a bad time at the CNN Christmas party, but fucking speak up. It's just ivermectin. It's not a political thing.
People are looking to you.
You can have an opinion.
Do you know what kind of hair care products Joe Rogan uses?
Horse and mane.
That's
and
right.
tail.
Mane and tail.
That's
Come
it.
on.
Yeah. So, how like I would know.
All
Dare
right.
you.
It's funny. I had this clip from 3 weeks ago. We never played it, but it was. I know everyone always accuses Tucker Carlson of being like a hater and spreads lies and blah blah blah. But he had Brett Weinstein on, I don't know, a month ago.
Oh, that guy.
And that's the guy we interviewed in No Safe Spaces.
The guy that was terrorized.
He was terrorized at his college, and he was talking to Tucker about taking ivermectin, and now Tucker's a man of the right, so he should have his own spin on it. Like, he should be saying this is a wonder drug, and it's not for horses, and blah blah blah. But this is what a sort of reasonable conversation on ivermectin sounds like, and Weinstein's a thoughtful, or Weinstein, I never know if I get it right, but it's a thoughtful guy. So Tucker's asking him about what's going on with the COVID protocol in his household.
We spoke for an hour for our Fox Nation show. It was one of my favorite conversations. But we only got in trouble when you mentioned the word ivermectin. And so I cannot resist asking you, at the time you said that you and your wife, with whom you wrote this book, have been taking it prophylactically. Are you still doing that? And do you think that it works?
Well, the data is noisy. I'm still doing it because the harm is clearly very small and the potential benefit is large. I would suggest, I'm not a doctor, people should look into the question themselves and figure out whether or not it is a potentially useful tool in fending off COVID, which is a very serious disease.
By that one measure, fending off COVID, has it been effective, do you believe, for you and your wife?
It's a little hard to say because we don't know where we've encountered it. We haven't come down with COVID as far as we know, but I can say that in other countries it has been used to great effect and is now being widely distributed in many places because officials there that have looked at it have concluded it is useful.
Huh. So, I mean, countries with rigorous data have come to that conclusion?
Yes, again, the data set is noisy and reasonable people can disagree, but given the low danger of the drug, giving it to people who either have encountered COVID or are living with people who have just tested positive seems to be very effective at driving down rates of COVID.
All right. Well, there's a rational discussion on ivermectin, and we could have had a lot of those about a lot of things throughout the last year and a half.
Has Drew taken it? I mean, he got COVID, for God's sake.
I think he did take ivermectin. I do not think he's a big fan of it. Drew will be the first guy, if you bring up hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin, to go, I don't know if it's really effective. And then you go, well, is it dangerous? And he'll go, no, it's not dangerous. So if you want, I think he took ivermectin. I'm almost sure he did.
Something he would talk about.
Text him.
Yeah.
Find out.
I'm not a physician, and we've talked about so many of these different things back and forth, and monoclonal antibodies or whatever. I've got so many fucking names in my head.
Yeah.
There's so many terrorist organizations competing with therapeutics in my brain that I never thought I'd ever utter.
Yeah.
But I think Drew took it. I don't know. Send him a text. But either way, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. See, Weinstein was very thoughtful about it. He's like, it's the data's messy, but given the dangers of it, which don't really exist, then we're just doing it. Does it work? Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
But we think we take it anyway.
And we are the disinformation like eye of the storm, because I don't know who to believe with anything, because now I was talking to somebody recently and they work in the medical field, and I asked them, what about this new drug coming out from Pfizer? And he goes, Pfizer-mectin, which is basically just ivermectin. So it's like my head's swimming. I don't know what to believe.
Well, we should all just be getting a agnostic version of everything, not we know this doesn't work or this is dangerous or that. Just give us the. Obviously, everyone's taking a stand one way or the other. I just feel that there's no. That exchange about ivermectin is the exchange we should hear, which is maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. We choose to take it. It's not it's horse paste, and the hospitals are clogged when they're not. Nobody's doing that.
And I couldn't perform under the influence.
Right.
And I don't think Sam did either. Now, he might have gone on like I did, mess up sometimes, fuck up, and you get on stage and you're like, oh shit, I didn't plan this one well.
Right.
I mean, I had those moments, and you go, "Oh shit!" And I remember once I was a little too drunk, and I ran into the bathroom. I actually called a break to the audience and ran in the bathroom, did some blow, and came back out.